Chaturdash. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Okay, I can get started. I know Rukmini Bhimati, you plan to read tomorrow, right? Are you in a position to read today by any chance? Otherwise, I'll read also.
I mean, I can read if you
Yeah, Shrimati, you can read today and we can ask Kishore Prabhu to read tomorrow. Yes.
Okay. It's the 187, right?
Yeah, from 187 Mati.
After hearing the Atmarama verse, Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear sir, please explain this verse. I have a great desire to hear your explanation of it. The Lord replied, first, let me hear your explanation. After that, I shall try to explain what little I know. 189. Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya then began to explain the Atmarama verse, and according to the principles of logic, he put forward various propositions. The Bhattacharya explained the Atmarama verse in 9 different ways on the basis of scripture. After hearing his explanation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, smiling a little, began to speak. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Bhattacharya, you are exactly like Brahaspati, the priest of the heavenly kingdom. Indeed, no one within this world has the power to explain the scriptures in such a way. 192. My dear Bhattacharya, you have certainly explained this verse by the prowess of your vast learning. But you should know that besides this scholarly explanation, there is another purport to this verse. 193. Upon the request of Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to explain the verse without touching the 9 explanations given by the Bhattacharya. 194. There are 11 words in the Atmarama verse, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained each word one after the other. 195. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took each word specifically and combined it with the word Atmarama. He thus explained the word Atmarama in 18 different ways. 196. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different potencies, and his transcendental qualities all have inconceivable prowess. It is not possible to explain them fully. 197. These 3 items attract the mind of a perfect student engaged in spiritual activities and overcome all other processes of spiritual activity. 198. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the meaning of the verse by giving evidence concerning Shukadeva Goswami and the 4 rishis, Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanata, and Sanananda. Thus the Lord gave various meanings and explanations. 199. Upon hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of the Atmarama verse, Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya was struck with wonder. He then understood Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be Krishna in person, and thus he condemned himself in the following words. 200. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is certainly Lord Krishna himself, because I could not understand him and was very proud of my own learning. I have committed many offenses. 201. When Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya denounced himself as an offender and took shelter of the Lord desired to show him mercy. Prabhu, until what verse are we reading?
Until 207 Mate.
Oh, 7. 202. To show his mercy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed him to see his Vishnu form. Thus, he immediately assumed 4 hands. 203. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first showed him the 4-handed form and then appeared before him in his original form of Krishna, with a blackish complexion and a flute to his lips. 204. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw the form of Lord Krishna manifest in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately fell down flat to offer him obeisances. Then he stood up and with folded hands began to offer prayers. 205. By the mercy of the Lord, all truths were revealed to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he could understand the importance of chanting the holy name and distribute the love of Godhead everywhere. 206. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composed 100 verses in a very short time. Indeed, not even Brahaspati, the priest of the heavenly planets, could compose verses as quickly. 207. After hearing the 100 verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily embraced Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was immediately overwhelmed in ecstatic love of Godhead and fell unconscious. I'll stop here, brother.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Madhya. So you're able to hear, okay, all of you from here? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, Rob. Thank you. Okay. So the context here was, briefly share the context. Context was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were discussing. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the Vedanta Sutra explanation from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for 7 days. And we heard how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked him, I'm not sure whether you are understanding or not, because you're not nodding, you're not saying anything, you're not asking any questions, what's going on. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I understand this very well. Actually, Vedanta Sutra explanation itself is very nice. It has self-evident meanings. But then with your explanations from Sharika Bhashya, which is commentary from Shankaracharya, you're messing it up, you're clouding the real meaning, like that he was saying. And then he criticizes Shankaracharya philosophy, how they don't take the real meaning, but they interpret some wrong meaning out of it, and then bring out some meaning and put it there like that. And it takes a lot of effort to do that, like that he was telling. And he was saying Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra are self-evident, like that he was saying. And then he was saying how Shankaracharya misguided people in the sense that instead of giving emphasis to Om, but he gave emphasis to Tattvamasi, like that he described. Like that he criticized Shankaracharya. And then he said, actually, Shankaracharya did it on the order of the Supreme Lord only. Like that he gave some explanation. Then he started to explain, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started to explain the Atmaramavas, which is first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter, 10th verse. The context of that verse was, says of Namisharans will ask the question, how come Sukadeva Goswami was already self-realized? Why did he bother to read Bhagavatam again? Why did he why did he hear Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva, like that he asked? Because when they're already in self-realized platform, Brahman platform, their point is that they're already detached, they don't need anything else, they're already happy, like that he was saying. So that's the context in which this verse is spoken. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is essentially saying, devotion service is the ultimate goal of Vedas, because he explained Sambandha, Avideya, Prayojana, like that. And then he started to explain Atmanamavas, which is why liberated souls also take interest in Bhakti to the Supreme Lord and interest in Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. Let me share the screen now again. Okay. Now, after hearing that Atmanamavas, we are starting from 177. Yeah. Then what did Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya say? He asked, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear sir, please explain this verse. I have great desire to hear your explanation of it, like that. He wanted to see how his explanation will be. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, okay, let me look. There are only 3 verses with purports today. 188 verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, first let me hear your explanation. After that, I shall explain whatever little I know. See, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he placed himself in a humble position. If you notice, whenever he is interacting with Mayavadis or impersonalists, he Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a humble position first. And then after they did some service, and then he explained something like that. We see this pattern. We saw it once in Lila also, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking to some Mayavad sannyasis in Varanasi, like that. So you can see the same explanation. Whatever little I know, I'll explain you. After you hear from you, he said. Then Sarvam Bhattacharya was happy to explain because he is an expert. He explained Atmana verse according to principles of logic. That's the point. According to logical understanding only he said, not bhakti understanding, logical understanding only. So then, how did he explain? He explained in 9 different ways, it seems. Bhattacharya, Sarvam Bhattacharya. Again on the basis of scripture, but with his interpretations using logic like that. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to smile a little and started to speak, it seems. So in this verse, the context you already explained. This verse gives the purport, gives the same context. How says of time Sharan was asking, why did they ask Sukadeva Goswami like that? Why did they ask that Sukadeva Goswami, even though he's a Paramahamsa, why did he bother to read Bhagavatam like that, hear Bhagavatam like that? Now, 191st verse, after Bhattacharya explained in 9 different ways, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, first, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first appreciated his explanation. Important thing, see. He said, you are exactly like Brihaspati. Indeed, no one in the world can explain scriptures like you, like that. They appreciated. Then, continues to explain, appreciate. He said, you explained very nicely, but your explanation is scholarly. That means based on logic only. There's another purport to this verse. What is the other purport? Bhakti side of the purport. How to understand according to Bhakti, how can understand according to devotion service, according to Acharyas like that, Acharyas and Vaishnava line like that. So then he said like that and left it all. He didn't say, look, I'm going to tell you now, not like that. He said, there's another purport also to this verse like that, and left it alone. Then Sarvam Bhattacharya persuaded Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain the verse. And when he did that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started explaining the verse in all different methods, like 18 different ways, without touching the 9 ways that Bhattacharya already explained, it seems. So some detail is given in this chapter, but more detail is given when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking to Sanatana Goswami. That will come up in 24th chapter. Where in 6th chapter of Madhya Lila, in 24th chapter, he will talk to Sanatana Goswami. That time he'll explain more details. We'll get more details from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Now he just says 2 things. One is, in the Atmanam verse, there are 11 words that are there. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained each of the words. That is one point he mentioned. Second point is mentioned is that each word he combined with the Atmanam word to explain 18 different ways, basically. That's all he gives. He doesn't give details of that. Of course, in this purport, what are the 11 words like that is there in the purport, but 18 different ways is given in 24th chapter. So now we'll get the essence of that, though. We'll find out. So then, what is the essence of that is being explained in the next set of verses? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said 3 things. Supreme Personality of Godhead, His potencies, His Shaktis, and His transcendental qualities, gunas. So, Bhagavan, Shakti, Guna, all have inconceivable prowess, number 1. Because they have inconceivable prowess, it is not possible to explain them fully. So, in fact, notice the point fully. Vaishnavas say this word fully. Whereas impersonalists say we cannot explain Supreme Lord like that. Because they say Supreme Lord has no qualities, no form like that, they think. But Vaishnavas say we can explain to whatever little bit we have capacity that Krishna gave us, but we cannot understand fully, we cannot explain fully, both. So these 3 items, what are the 3 items? Supreme Lord and His potencies and His qualities attract the mind of a perfect student engaged in spiritual activities. The purport, this can be devotees, this can be karma yoga process, jnana yoga process, even they can become attracted. It's being described now like that. And overcome all other processes of spiritual activity. The purport, the clarification is made that out of all the students of spiritual life are transcendentalists, devotees have the highest attraction towards Krishna. So that's why Krishna is called all attractive one, because he attracts everybody with his qualities. That's the point made in the purport. Now, how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explain? By giving examples, by giving evidence concerning 2 personalities. One is, he told Sukadeva Goswami And another example is four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanatana, Sanandana. So basically what he's telling is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Sukadeva Goswami was in Brahman platform, and even four Kumaras are also in Brahman platform. Even they were attracted to hear Krishna Kada. They were attracted to devotion service of Krishna. So what this is establishing is that devotion service gives the highest happiness, highest bliss, even higher than the bliss of Brahma Jyoti. When somebody with Brahma Gnana also, even higher than that is a devotion service. That is a bliss that gives like that. That is one point highlighted in this purport also. Then, after hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 18 different explanations, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave 9 explanations of the verse, Atmanam verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 18 different explanations, different from the 9 verse, 9, right? Then after he heard that explanation, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is stuck with wonder. He's so brilliant and expert, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that he understood Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna in person. So then he started, wow, this must be Krishna, because at that time, in the whole world, he was the topmost learned scholar, it seems. That's why it was easy for him to appreciate. I don't know, you have this experience, I have this experience. When you know something about some subject, then actually you can appreciate somebody who knows that subject well. For example, if I know math a little bit nicely, when I see a math expert, I can appreciate them. But if you don't know any math, I'll say he's math expert. That's all. Not much appreciation. Similarly, because he already was in the spiritual part, and because he was a super learned scholar, you could appreciate the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explanations, and he understood it so unique and perfect. That's why he realized that he's Krishna in person also. And then what did he do? This is important, turning point. So until now, he was thinking he's superior in one sense, at least knowledge-wise, though he gave respect to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his sannyasi like that. Now, he condemned himself with following words. What? He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is certainly Lord Krishna himself. Because I could not understand him and was very proud of my own learning, I committed many offenses. So he's feeling regret that he did not recognize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu position, real position like that. So then, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is denouncing like that I'm offender like that, and then he took shelter of the Lord. And see, this is important. So understanding is one thing, and acting on understanding is one thing. Second thing. So he understood that Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. Then what did he do? He took shelter of Supreme Lord. That is important. Even for Bhakti also, it's not just important to learn things. It's important to apply that knowledge in our devotional life like that. So that's what he's describing, that he took shelter of the Lord. Then the moment he took shelter of the Lord, then the Lord desired to show his mercy. So see, until now, he was just talking like a peer like that. Not so much mercy like that. But now he took shelter. That means fully dependent on the Lord. So that's why Lord was desiring to show him his mercy. There are no purports for this section. So we're going through only the translation primarily. So now, what did he do, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to show mercy? He showed him the Vishnu form first with 4 hands, number 1. After showing the Vishnu form with 4 hands, then he showed him the form of Krishna, with 2-handed form of Krishna, Shamsundar form. See, with blackish complexion and a flute to his lips. So first he showed Vishnu form with 4 hands, and then he showed Krishna form with 2 hands. This is similar to Bhagavad Gita. Krishna shows to Arjuna, right? Universal form, then 400 Vishnu form, then Krishna's 200 form, like that is described. Similar concept you can see here also. Similar thing happened here also. Then when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw the form of Lord Krishna manifested from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately fell down flat like Dandavat Pranam to offer him obeisances. Then he stood up and with folded hands began to offer prayers, it seems. And he offered beautiful prayers. So it's described that, see, another important point. Because Lord gave his mercy to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, what happened? All truthful revealed to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And so one aspect, which is by the mercy of the Lord, we can get more realization. That's one point to note. Second point is, out of all the truths that are revealed, we're getting the sample essential things. What are the essential things? You could understand the importance of chanting the holy name and importance of distributing love of Godhead everywhere. That means importance of chanting the holy name. So for him, for his own self and for sharing with others. And he also felt the importance of distributing love of Godhead to others also. And this was all happened because of mercy of the Lord. So when we get the received mercy similarly, then we can also understand and appreciate the glories of devotion service, glories of chanting the holy name, and the importance of preaching, and the necessity of preaching will also learn, will also understand and realize. Then will be impelled to do accordingly like that with the mercy. So that's the point being given here. So in fact, unless we know the importance of something, then we don't take it in a valuable way. We don't take it in a proper way, and we don't advance. One of the important signs of advancement is to understand the value of devotion service, to understand the value of chanting the holy name that we got, to understand the value of hearing and reading scriptures, to understand the value of deity worship like that. Then we'll do it. If you don't understand value, we cannot do it. So that's why then we can progress more and more if you understand the value like that. So that's what is being highlighted here. Then remember Sarvam Bhattacharya offered prayers right away. It's described. He basically composed 100 verses, it seems, in a short time, very short time. And Krishna's Goswami is describing even Brihaspati, spiritual master of the demigods. He could not compose verses as quickly as Sarvam Bhattacharya. That means there's so much skill he has. 100 verses. And the purport, one line purport, I think this here or the next one, is described. The name of that, it's called some Sataka. Let me see if I find it. Yeah. Sushloka Sataka is the name of the book that contains 100 beautiful verses, it seems, from Sarvam Bhattacharya. So now, after hearing these 100 verses, what happened? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily embraced Sarvam Bhattacharya. So when he embraced, what happened? The effect was, first of all, the effect on Sarvam Bhattacharya was he's immediately overwhelmed in ecstatic Krishna prema, and then he fell unconscious, it seems. This sounds like some dramas we used to see. Sometimes Prabhupada used to say, and Acharya say, this is not what we should expect with our guru, like that they explain. But interesting that it happened in case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He embraced him and he gave him Krishna Bhakti like that. And he fell unconscious. Normally the dramas, Prabhupada describes that the guru becomes unconscious because he gave all the power to disciple like that. Here the disciple became unconscious, and the Bhattacharya actually became mad with ecstatic love, and he showed all symptoms of ecstasy with tears, and he shook and trembled, he perspired, like that is described. And was chanting and dancing, and he fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, I think 207 only we're supposed to discuss today, right? Yeah. So that's what, so basically what we learned today is that in the interaction between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvam Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acted in a humble way, first listening to Sarvam Bhattacharya, appreciating him, and then when being asked to share, then only he shared about the Atmanava's explanations. The moment he shared Atmanava explanations, Sarvam Bhattacharya understood this is Supreme Lord. And what did he do after that? He took shelter of Supreme Lord. Then when we take shelter of Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him extra mercy. With that mercy, he could, he showed him the form of Vishnu first, 400 Vishnu form, and then Krishna form. And then Sarvam Bhattacharya glorified with 100 verses we heard. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Sarvam Bhattacharya. And then Sarvam Bhattacharya was ecstatic with symptoms of love of God like that. That's what we saw so far. We'll hear more about how did this transformation happen in Sarvam Bhattacharya. In one short verse coming up tomorrow's session. How did that happen? Even though it's such a great Mayavadi scholar, how could he get transformed immediately like that? That's what we'll see tomorrow. We'll pause there. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kupasindubhyevacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.